Retail sales rose 3% during the holiday shopping season. That's according to a report by Mastercard. It was driven by a shift to online shopping, which rose 49% from a year ago. Joining us now, Steve Sadove, Senior Advisor for Mastercard and former Chairman and CEO of Saks. Steve, always great to speak with you.
Great to see you.
The Mastercard numbers are really interesting, and maybe they underscore a lot of the trends that we saw during the pandemic. Home improvements, as well as, home goods, decor, up 16%. Electronics, appliances were up about 6%. From the category wins, can we glean who are the winners and the losers?
Well, I think what you can overall glean is that the consumer was pretty healthy. The forecast for the season had been at 2.4%, came in at 3%, and that's about the same level of performance we saw in 2019 during the holiday season. So if you would ask me in the beginning of the pandemic in, let's say, March, April, whether or not we would be seeing a 3% growth in the consumer, I would tell you that that would be very, very surprising. So the biggest surprise, I think, is the health of the consumer. If you look at the winners and losers, clearly the stay-at-home, the hardware, the home improvement were winners, and the losers were more of the apparel, the department store categories. I would tell you that I think that the big box retailers tended to be the winners. They had, when consumers felt safe, they were going into those stores. They got used to it. Mm-hmm. They continued to perform extremely well during the holiday season.
Some people say this real Super Bowl is going to happen during the return season, and a lot of retailers are adjusting their return policies in terms of offering curbside returns. What's different, though, this time around, Steve, as you know, is that this time goods will have to be quarantined. They might have to be sanitized, and that could jeopardize the resale, especially of seasonal merchandise. Who's most vulnerable? Who would you be concerned about in terms of the return season and seeing a bulk of those returns, since the NRF is estimating about 10% or so is going to be returned of the goods bought?
You know, I think the return season will be normal as a percentage of the overall. Mm-hmm. I don't see it. A lot of the returns and the higher percentage returns tend to be in apparel. Apparel was the weakest of the categories. They were overall down 19%. You also had a big uptick in gift cards, and gift cards don't hit the retailer's books until the consumer buys the product. So I actually think that you're going to offset some of the returns by the gift card improvement that you saw. So I think we're in a very solid performance. You also had inventories that came in very much in line. The retailers didn't order as much this year, so because they were ordering during the depths of the pandemic. So inventories are in line. Margins will likely be very healthy as a result of it. So even though returns are going to be there, the overall season is looking pretty good as far as I can see.
What kinds of stores should we be concerned about? I mean, it's often said that, it's called Black Friday for a reason. Some retailers go out of business. So going into 2021, Steve, what more retail bankruptcy should we expect?
Well, you've already seen a large number of the financially stressed companies that went under, the Neiman Marcus's, the JCPenney's of the world, Brooks Brothers, J. Crew. I think you're going to continue to see apparel companies that are struggling. The center of the mall, because the mall is not where the consumer was going. You saw department store sales down 10% over the holiday season, and they're at the end of the mall, so the center of the mall is difficult. So I think you'll see some of those retailers going under. Clearly, anything related to home, hardware, electronics are very healthy. Restaurants, you're going to continue to see struggle. You're going to probably see a reset in the restaurant industry. Rents are going to have to change. I think that in the downtown, the Sohos, the Madison Avenues of the world, you're going to see resets in terms of the retail landscape.
Yep, we see a lot of boarded up storefronts, that's for sure. Steve, thank you.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.